What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Timesplitters podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
I don't know what's going on this week because this is a genuine, like, mid-June worth of news in the games industry this week, which is nuts. Nuts. So it is a jam-packed show for you guys this week.
It's the Keeley effect.
It is the Keeley effect. Let's talk about the Game Awards. We'll talk about the trailers. We'll talk about the controversy. But first, let's talk about the reason for the season, and that is the Game Awards winners. And I gotta say, this was like the least. I feel like there was like not a single controversial winner in the bunch this year.
No, not really. It wasn't. I mean, look, and that's not to say that like these. This was a stacked year, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was an incredibly stacked year. Problem is not problem, but like the issue is that the cream really rose to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does it better. And yeah, the people who you thought won, won.
Yeah. This is an indication on the kind of year this was. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom only won for Best Action Adventure Game. That was the only award that it won. Mario Wonder only won for Best Family Game.
Which, by the way, Zelda is an action adventure game. I mean,
it is. I would consider it as such. I don't know that lumping those two categories in together entirely makes sense, because to me adventure games are much different than I don't think Zelda should be in the same category as like something from Platinum Games necessarily.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
Like when I think of action adventure, I think I don't know. I feel like action game and adventure game should be, but that's just me being salty because like Spider-Man didn't win anything.
Spider-Man went 0 for 7, as a matter of fact. Which again, like, I don't think is a knock on Spider-Man. I think it's just indicative.
No, certainly not.
Of the quality of games that came out.
It's the kind of year. It's the kind of year that we've had. It's the fact that the game that won big, while it was a sequel, not really, right?
I barely consider Baldur's Gate 3 to be a sequel.
Right.
Yeah, so Baldur's Gate 3 won, I think, 7 awards total, including Game of the Year.
How many was nominated?
Yeah,
I was.
It didn't miss much that it was nominated for. The only ones that didn't win that it was nominated for was Game Direction, Narrative. Both of those went to Alan Wake 2. Score and music went to Final Fantasy. And I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, score. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about Final Fantasy winning that, but
it's a bit of a subjective award, though. Like, I honestly, like, if you were going to give it to anybody, I think, honestly, I don't like any of the nominees in here because, my inclination would be to give it to Hi-Fi Rush, but it feels weird to me, like, awarding, again, this is why, like, the condensation of the awards is not my favorite thing, because to me, like, putting in a license, because Hi-Fi Rush is pretty much almost exclusively a licensed soundtrack.
Yeah.
And kind of putting that up next to an original score doesn't really make sense to me either. So
yeah, I guess but I guess what we're saying, at least I'm saying, is, I haven't played Alan Wake 2, but like the music wasn't standout this year, at least not with these nominees.
Yeah,
I feel like awarding a Final Fantasy a best score in music is knee jerk.
I wonder, did 14 maybe this is like flowers to soak in, because I don't know if 14 ever won any of the Game Awards for that, but I think but most people will tell you that like 14 has like the best soundtrack.
Yeah.
of all the Final Fantasy games, which is weird to me because I've never played it. So like I can't speak firsthand to it. Cyberpunk, I was correct in my prediction that Cyberpunk was given best ongoing game, just as kind of like a, hey, now we can reward you for your game,
Yeah.
because Cyberpunk is not an ongoing game in the sense that they mean in this case.
Right. Like in a sense that like the 4 other nominees are actual ongoing games. Like they
Yes.
might as well have just called it the Cyberpunk 2077 award. Like come
Here's
on, man.
so and there's like a lot of other, and again, you guys can check out the award winners yourselves. There wasn't much in here that was surprising to me, in the least. The controversy that's been kind of carried on after the show, though, so it was noticeable, the amount to which the acceptance speeches were mandated this year, as far as like the time frame. The supposed story is that the all of the recipients were told they had like 30 seconds to give their acceptance speeches. I think this was a overcorrection from last year, when Christopher Judge famously gave an 8-minute acceptance speech, which he then dragged Call of Duty's campaign making fun of this year, which I thought was very funny, but apparently a lot of the Call of Duty developers took great offense to that joke. It's a joke. Relax. If you
Apparently, I read a comment. I read an article where it's like those people who you saw those tweets where they were walking it back, like, oh no, I was joking. I was joking when I said that guy could go fuck himself. I was joking. Like, okay.
Look, if you don't want to get clowned on for having a game with a 3-hour campaign, don't make a game with a 3-hour campaign. That's all I'm saying. And then have the gall to charge $70 for it. Come on.
That's it, man. That's it.
Get
And
outta
it was
here.
an obvious joke, right? It's an
Yeah.
obvious joke that was obviously written for him. You think that guy fucking plays Call of Duty? What the fuck? No, dude. Like everybody, like, calm down, guys. And yeah, don't make a 3-hour campaign. Don't make a
Yeah.
movie for your video.
Here's a good rule of thumb. Don't make a campaign that can be beaten inside of how long it takes to watch the Game Awards. That's a good. I feel like that's a good barometer that we can all go with. But yeah, so like the acceptance speeches were really short, uncomfortably so, because there were a lot of instances where people were just starting to like it was clear like they knew they had to wrap it up, but they were just trying to make sure they got all their stuff in. And then like they had like the please wrap it up music like playing over top of them, which was a little awkward. And it just again, it was an overcorrection. Like it was an overcorrection from last year. Like I understand you wanted to police that to make sure you didn't have another Christopher Judge moment. And yes, 8 minutes is excessive, but like give them like 2 minutes. Like come on, like this is their time to be recognized.
It was an overcorrection for the wrong people.
Right.
Like it was an overcorrection because the celebrity went long. Meanwhile, the celebrities that were in attendance
Don't get me started
and had time
on that.
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, yo. Like, Simu Liu seems like a really nice guy, but I don't care about his fucking foot being broken or whatever. What the fuck?
I also don't care about his bona fides with like playing StarCraft. Like, okay, cool.
Right.
Like you played StarCraft back in the day. I don't need you to drone on about it for 2 minutes to let me know that you are authentically a gamer. Same thing with like Anthony Mackie. Like apparently, like he was playing like.
What the fuck he was doing.
Well, look, he was on some great value Will Smith shit. Anthony Mackie was. Apparently, like he was like interacting with the audience, so like his stuff came across better in person than it did on the broadcast, because you couldn't like hear the audience in the broadcast, and so you couldn't understand what he was reacting to. I don't know why you need the celebrities at this point with the Game Awards. Like, I feel like the Game Awards are a legitimate organization, and I think I heard a lot of peers say this, and I can't put it better. It's almost as if the Game Awards are embarrassed about the video games. Like they're just like, so we have to bring in these celebrities to give us credibility. But like, no, dude, like the audience that's watching this finds video games and the people that make the video games to be credible. Like, you don't need to bring in all this outside talent to like having fucking Anthony Mackie and Simu Liu on this broadcast is not bringing in somebody who doesn't play video games to watch the show, because A, it doesn't matter, and B, they weren't even, it's not like they were announced. Like, it's not, I didn't know that fucking
Right.
Anthony Mackie and Simu Liu were going to be presenting awards. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're not drawing any extra eyeballs with that.
Yeah, you got these, superstar game developers who like put them out there, right? Like get like as much as like I think Todd Howard's a bit of a, you know, douche, like get that guy out there.
You,
You know what I mean?
you didn't like their passive aggressive ad that they were in. like congratulations to all the winners in the at the show this year. Even though we were barely nominated for any awards.
Like that guy was sitting in the audience, man. Like get him out there. Get I don't need yeah, I don't know. It's just so that's a really apt, like that's a very poignant comment. Like the game awards feel embarrassed by themselves.
Yeah.
And like you're right. We know what we're watching.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube.
And I was fine with, like, Matthew McConaughey, like, didn't belabor his shit. He was out there for a very specific reason, which which is fine, like, to present the trailer that he presented, and that was probably the least egregious of them.
Yeah.
But like everyone else, like, yeah, like I don't need to your point, I don't need a story from Simu Liu about how he injured his ankle doing whatever he was doing.
That was ridiculous. I damn near turned the fucking thing off. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like nobody
Right.
gives a fuck about your foot, man. Just present tell us what you're pimping out, and present the award.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. And I thought homeboy from Larian wasn't gonna get on stage at one point
Mm-hmm.
because like he wore that suit of armor. I'm like, oh shit! Like did he just wear that fucking thing for nothing?
Oh no, that's kind of that's kind of his shtick.
I know it's kind of his shtick.
Yeah.
Like I've seen their developer like blogs and stuff like
yeah.
that. But I'm like, yo, like I don't know, man. This is why I like award shows, right? Like I like to hear like stories of like, yo, this was fucking really difficult and we did it, and just thank you to everybody, right? Because like putting that out there brings a little bit of like positivity in the world, right? Like I know I sound fucking weird, like a hippie and shit, but like I appreciate stuff like that, right? Like maybe you get motivated by something like that. And the game of the year one was egregious. I could almost justify, ushering in everybody in and out 2 by 2 because you can only bring 2 people up there, and just like, hey, we gotta keep this train moving. I can almost justify the quickness of the speeches, but not for game of the year.
Yeah.
Like that's the one that is supposed to be like the thing that we're all there for.
Well,
and they started playing the goddamn wrap it up music when he's talking about hey, we want to dedicate this to our colleague who passed away during the development. Like what the fuck? Come on, man.
Yes. Yeah, particularly awkward moment on that one for sure. Because again, like we're like a lot of these games were developed during COVID, so it's very likely that these teams lost folks due to that as well. So yeah, and again, like people were like, oh, there's too many trailers, like you got to cut the trailers. Like no, you don't have to cut the trailers, because the trailers are honestly the reason I'm there. Like if it's just an award show, like I'm not tuning in just for that. Sorry. The trailers are the reason I'm there, but like the second reason I'm there is to celebrate the game winners. And again, I don't need the celebrities. Like make the industry celebrities. There was another podcast I listened to who talked about the fact that like Jeff Keighley has made celebrities during this event. Like no one knew who fucking Joseph Ferris was. Now Joseph Ferris is at every fucking Game Awards because he's a memorable character that Jeff Keighley highlighted, who's a game developer, and so like that dude's at the Game Awards all the fucking time now, and he's delightful. but he's not like no one outside of people watching the Game Wars knows who the fuck Joseph Fares is, or ever will probably. So you have personalities in the industry that can do this. So just highlight those people.
Also, I knew it wasn't going to happen, right? I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I thought it would be really cool if anyone was going to do it, I would have thought Jeff Keighley would do it, because Jeff has kind of a reputation for like, yeah, but when's it coming out though? Yeah, okay, yeah, in the future, but like when in the future? Like he has an opportunity. He has the like he presses a little bit, you know, he pushes back just a little bit, just enough for it to be charming but slightly annoying. But he did. I thought it would have been really cool if he, at the beginning of the show, between the pre-show and the main show, came out there, just said, "Hey, you know, this has been a really, really tough year for our industry. I just want to shout out all the hardworking game developers who work so hard on these games. The ones who lost their, you know, who had the unfortunate circumstance of losing their jobs. You know, we dedicate this performance to all of the game developers out there, right? And now on with the show." But no, he didn't, man, and that kind of sucks, because this has been a really shitty fucking year for this industry.
And look, if he had done what you said, there would have been a ton of people who would have criticized him for that not being enough. You know what I mean? Like that being a blip. But to your point, like you got to say something. Like you can't like. I think he awkwardly alluded to it at the beginning, like talk about how this celebration can bring us together and it's what unites us and this all. But like no, dude, like you have to address the specific elephant in the room. I feel like, and again, what you said, I think would have been perfectly adequate.
That would have been it.
Yeah, and we could have gone on from there. Speaking of elephants in the room, do we really need to give Hideo Kojima 13 minutes?
Oh my fucking god!
To show off an asset trailer for his.
I can't fucking deal with this, man. Like I get it, yo. I get it. Like I don't hero worship, right? Like I don't believe in heroes, right? Heroes are in the funny pages. You know what I mean? Like I don't believe that there is a person walking on this earth that is like a hero to me. But I get that you admire Hideo Kojima, but Jesus fucking Christ, man! Like it's getting sad.
Dude, his voice literally wavered when he was like announcing him coming out. Like he was getting very emotional about the fact that Hideo Kojima was even here to show off.
As if he doesn't have that guy on speed dial,
right?
As if he can't just contact that guy anytime he wants. Like it's embarrassing.
Also,
man.
I'm sorry. Like I know the term auteur gets thrown around. Hideo Kojima is a creative like luminary in the game industry. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. There are other creative luminaries worthy of spotlight that aren't named Hideo Kojima in the video game industry as well. I just want to throw that out there. Like we don't have to have like the Kojima segment every single year, and now he's poisoning Micah against Jordan Peele to boot.
Yo, I was just like, what is going on here, yo? What is going? And look, Hideo Kojima is kind of inching closer and closer, like to Hollywood, right? And that's Jeff Keighley's thing, right? Bringing Hollywood and video games together, apparently. But it just doesn't. You give Hideo Kojima 13 minutes to talk about a concept that he has.
Well, to be fair, he gave Hideo Kojima like 7 minutes to talk about a concept, and then he gave Jordan Peele 6 minutes to suck Hideo Kojima's dick live on stage. Like that's what actually happened during that segment.
Like it's so wild, dude. Yeah. It's so wild. Like okay, anyway, the nominees for Best RPG, A, B, C, D, and E, and E won. The nominees for Best Fighting Game, A, B, C, D, E, and B won. The nominees for Best Indie Game, A, B, C, D, E, C won. All right, everybody, back to the ads. What the fuck? These are genre major.
It is a bit. You know what? It is a bit of a it is a bit of a, you're not understanding what you're selling essentially. If you're like, hey, these are here to celebrate the industry, and then yeah, to your point, like literally 2/3 of the awards are handed out like in like rapid fashion, essentially.
Right, like the fucking the one like the nerd Oscars that they give the Saturday before the Academy Awards. What the
But
fuck?
even like indie game of the year now, apparently what's said is that like if the people that are on that part of it, like the people whose awards are given out, like in that fashion, are people that don't actually attend the show. So like apparently like the Sea of Stars folks weren't there, so like that's why he had that
The
award.
Street Fighter team was there
Capcom certainly was, yes,
right.
100%.
What the fuck? Like they showed a cell phone video of Jeff with his back to the crowd, awarding Street Fighter the fighting game of the year, and they were just like, "Hey," in their seats. What the fuck is this show? Like, I
Yeah.
know fighting games are like a niche, right? Like, nobody gives a fuck about fighting games except for like us and Johnny, right? But like, come on, man. Like, all right, yo.
Yeah. But I do hope Jeff Keighley does take stock of the criticism around that. And again, like don't overcorrect. Like don't go back and be like, all right, no time limits for anybody on their acceptance speeches. Then someone comes out and gives like a 10-minute speech. But like you can certainly find a happy balance between the two. You can certainly find time to present more awards, and you can certainly use less celebrities to fucking hand this shit out. So. I like the concept of the previous winner, if they're there, handing the award to the new winner. You know what I mean? Like why is Timothy Chalamet out here presenting Game of the Year to these guys when you could have gotten fucking the from guys to present that to them this year.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick break and then we will come back and talk about the trailers that we saw that caught our eye at the Game Awards. All right, so the other reason that we watched this shit is for all of the trailers. And there were a lot of fucking trailers this year. Obviously, we are not going to comprehensively review all of the trailers. We will talk about the ones that most caught our eye. Is it fair to say that you and I are both the most excited, potentially, about a new spacefaring game from the original creators behind or for the original writers behind Mass Effect? Is it a fair statement?
That is a fair statement, but I will say that this trailer feels much like a lot of the trailers, man.
Mm-hmm.
They feel aggressively generic.
Yeah.
Like each one of these games feels aggressively generic or like aggressively derivative of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like I wasn't really impressed to be perfectly honest with you with a lot of these.
Mm-hmm.
I, even the stuff that like might appeal to me specifically, I just wasn't. I don't know, man. Like that Matthew McConaughey game looks good, but it also looks like not Mass Effect meets like with like some of the aliens from that one survival horror game that just came out, and just it looks cool, but it looks.
I am an easier mark than you, because all I need to know is a game is happening and just the general concept and just some, concept art, which is what these trailers essentially are, and I'm all in. And again, like Mass Effect, but they're trying to explore like a harder sci-fi concept. I mean, it's a bigger swing, so there's much more chance for it to fall flat. But I think it's cool that they're approaching some concepts in video games that haven't really been broached before. So. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to Exodus. It is now on my radar. Very much so.
Yeah, like I said, I want to. That's probably the one that I'm intrigued about the most. But I
Well,
mean,
we
this
also
Prince of Persia game looks kind of cool.
I wasn't expecting you to mention that first. What I thought you were going to mention was the internal conflict that exists within you now between a general dislike of Arcane Studios gameplay with
yeah.
with a license and a style of game that you actually like a lot.
Look, man, it's I swore I would never pick up another one, and then they were like, "Here's a Marvel game starring a black character set in Paris." Well, okay, all right. I mean, I have to play it now. I have to play it now. God damn it! Like they heard me and was just like, "All
Yeah.
right, bet we got you. We got your ass." Now.
Here's the first vampire game from Arcane Studios. What about Redfall? Here's the first vampire game from Arcane Studios. That was unexpected. Like halfway through that trailer, like basically when I saw the fangs, like when he was shaving his neck, I was like, is this a Blade game?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Like,
That's what I said. Like,
and then like when they did like the commando style like arming, and then like he put the sword in his back. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, weird. Like, what a weird fucking thing for Arcane Studios to be making of anything else. So, like I said, I'm curious to see what it is. It looks like a very different style of game from their normal output, and I'll be very curious to see if there's any immersive sim elements inside of this Blade game. So
I really hope they don't overthink this game. Like I really hope they don't. I don't need this game to have too many gimmicks. I just need it to be. I needed to have fun with the license. I want Paris to be. I want Paris to not feel like a generic ass map. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. They got me. They got my ass.
they did announce finally. I should say they finally revealed a new Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Wilds, which is a.
Man, I thought that was a Final Fantasy game.
Oh, I knew it was Monster Hunter straight away because I saw the legally distinctive chocobos, and I was like,
That's
oh.
why I thought it was a Final Fantasy.
I was like, this is Monster Hunter. I was like, but it doesn't look like a direct sequel to Monster Hunter World. It's coming out next year, or 2025, so they have lots of time. The fact that they're calling it what they're calling it makes me wonder if they're gonna broach like an open world concept for the first time, which would be interesting. Monster Hunter is not open world. It kind of takes place within specific zones that you travel to, that are big maps. So it seems like a natural evolution to move to that. So we'll see. Obviously, just because it's gonna be the first time I'm on the ground floor with the Monster Hunter game, so I'll be curious to see what that experience is like. Because so far I've only played like fully formed ones, once they've been out for a little while. What else was spicy on here? They did announce a new game from Motion Twin, who are the makers of Dead Cells. It is called Windblown. It looks to basically be like Dead Cells, but 3D and like isometric camera, which is great. If it's, it looks like fast combat. I would just expect that it's probably a roguelike as well. And it looks like it has cooperative elements, too. So like a natural evolution, I feel like, for that formula.
Remember when the developers of Final Fantasy 16 said that this is just going to be one complete story, and we're not going to have DLC. We don't have any plans for it because we want to focus solely on this story. That was a lie.
Isn't it free though?
It might be.
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm not paying for it. I got everything I need out of Final Fantasy 16. I don't need to play it again.
Apparently,
Are you gonna get,
apparently this the DLC shows you what's behind the secret door. I don't know what the secret door is, but there's a secret door apparently in Final Fantasy 16. So,
okay, I can't remember that game. The game was like junk food. Like it's just in and out. Right? It was like Chipotle. You eat it and then it's out. Are you gonna get the new Hello Games game? Since
I will follow its development with interest and see what happens. I mean, I'm certainly not going to pre-order it. I will wait to see what the day one experience is like. It does worry me when Sean Murray's out there like saying oh we've never done anything so, this is one of the most one of the most what's the word he used? I can't fucking remember.
He said this is the first real open world.
Yeah. Yeah.
without boundaries, a whole world.
It's not like a video game mountain that you can climb. It's like a real mountain that you can climb up and look from, and it's going to be like don't promise too much, Sean. Like just calm down.
Yeah, don't
Yeah, you
don't
know.
don't don't say you're making like don't say you're making a eighth inch, an eighth scale actual world, right? And well, you can climb Mount Everest. It's just an eighth of the size. Like, nah, man, don't do that. Don't do that.
So, like I said, I'll keep an eye on it, but I'm not there. Um, yeah, that's. I mean, those were the big ones. I mean, it seemed like there was a little something for everybody with what was announced and what was shown off. Um, they showed like a longer look at Metaphor ReFantasio. And I'm more confused about what the game is about. Like it definitely looks like a Persona game, but fuck if I can tell you what what that's going to be like. So, um, oh, and the new game from the Ori folks looks interesting as well. No Rest for the Wicked, which looks like a hack and slash RPG coming from them. That had an interesting looking trailer. So that got my attention. Did you play either of the Ori games at all?
I have not.
Okay, they're very pretty Metroidvanias. So, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, all right. The only Metroid, I guess this is a Metroid style game. This not Black Panther game.
Oh, from the dude who was the voice of Bayek in Origins.
Yeah, yeah. I might try it just to,
Tales of Kenzera.
yeah. Like I feel like I'm obligated to buy this. Just because,
I mean, the visuals look very flashy. If the gameplay can keep up with that, EA Originals have a really iffy track record, though. I feel like so they seem to not predict or not guess well.
I know, but like I gotta put my money where my mouth is. You
You're
know
right.
what I mean? But like no, like if this game is trash, like if it's garbage, I'm not gonna buy it. But if it's like, oh, this is pretty good. It's got some flaws, but like it's pretty good. Then I'll support. I'll support.
If you guys are in our Discord going to denspixels.com/fans, I'd be curious to know what trailers excited you. Like, are you excited that there's Final Fantasy skins coming to Apex Legends for some reason?
Yeah, it's weird.
There's a crossover, a crossover that no one ever expected. So,
Yeah, that's weird.
real quick, you don't have to spend more than 30 seconds discussing this. Now that we've seen more, because they've been putting out some like YouTube features as well. Are you any more in on Suicide Squad?
No, I've never been in. No,
Okay.
no, absolutely not. I'm so disappointed and disgusted at what that game actually is from that studio that no, there's no way I'm going to buy this.
Okay. Check back in 2
At
months,
least,
listeners, when Micah
at least
gives
not.
his impressions on
No,
Suicide
no,
Squad.
not at all. Not at all. Gotham Knights. If I waited until Gotham Knights was $10 before I said, "All right, I'll get it," then I'm not paying any more than $10. I'm not paying any more than $10 for this game. There's no way I'm going to buy this game on day one. Get out of here.
All right, fair
Boom,
enough.
boom, boom, boom.
All right. So I know that we're going to get into the news now. I know that Fortnite is a bit of a blind spot for us on the show because none of us really play it. And it's like it exists, but as like the most successful thing in the industry, but we don't talk about it a lot. I am interested. So you know how like Facebook tried to create the metaverse and failed spectacularly. Fortnite kind of did it in like a gaming sense. So like they've been running a lot of ads. It's like you have Fortnite Battle Royale, and then you also have like Fortnite Creative Mode, which is basically Fortnite without the Battle Royale aspect. Like it just lets you build shit and run around with your friends and that kind of stuff. And they've been doing some special events like, they like live concerts and things of that nature inside the game. So they've actually kind of built this out now to be like, I think you could officially call Fortnite a game platform at this point, because they added 3 more games within Fortnite that are all distinctly different. So you have Rocket Racing, which is made by Psyonix, the makers of Rocket League, which is an arcade racing game within Fortnite. You have Fortnite Festival, which is made by Harmonix, which is essentially Rock Band within Fortnite. And then you have Lego Fortnite, which is made by, I believe, the Telltale folks, if I'm not mistaken, which is essentially a Lego-themed survival game inside of Fortnite, alongside the Battle Royale and the Fortnite Creative Mode. So I've kind of followed these new games that have released inside Fortnite. They're all free to play within Fortnite, by the way. They all contribute towards like your Fortnite Battle Pass, and you can use your V-Bucks to buy consumables and stuff like that. And the games look pretty decent. Like what's there seems solid, and will probably be wildly successful, especially like the Lego game, which they are specifically trying to peel off folks from Minecraft, to get them in on that. But they are also, as our British listeners would say, really taking the piss with some of the microtransactions that they've associated alongside of these new games within Fortnite. So, in Rocket Racing specifically, you can get car skins, because of course you can. Like, well, of course they're going to sell you like car skins, and that's fine. And apparently there's like a bundle that has swappable decals in it, so that you can like customize your livery but for a single car, and it costs 4,000 V-Bucks. And in case listeners out there, if you're not Fortnite players, you're wondering the V-Bucks to dollar conversion ratio, 1,000 V-Bucks costs $9 of real United States greenbacks. And so 4,000 V-Bucks would cost you at least $36. And that's if they sold them in 4,000 V-Buck denominations. Of course they don't. So like whatever you buy, like you're gonna have some V-Bucks left over. Normally Fortnite skins, I believe, are around, I want to say like from 500 to 800 V-Bucks, typically for like the character skins. So like that's obscenely high compared to that. Now with the Fortnite Festival, the music game, they're basically charging popular songs for 500 V-Bucks a piece, which again is like between $4 and $5, but you can't buy them in such low quantities anyway. You can also get drum and guitar skins as well that you can use. So that's very not great. Like I feel like they have these cool new modes that are getting a lot more players to play the game. And look, they had, I think, like 2.5 million concurrent players playing over the weekend, which is a lot. But like, come on, man, this is egregious. This is egregious.
Gross, this is gross. But like Grand Theft Auto's the problem, right? Like it is, right? In terms of microtransactions and shit like that, it is. But Fortnite reaches way more people.
Look, if a skin for a car costs over $30, I don't think you can call that a microtransaction at that point anymore. That's just a transaction. Like you are just transacting something major and buying something that costs way too much money.
Oh my god.
So
yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing, man. Like this isn't going away. Like this prices are only going to go up. Especially, I don't know if these liveries are like branded. These $40 car skins.
I don't think so. I think they're just like, I'm looking at the screenshot right now. Like it's literally just like you could add like racing stripes or flames or like a lightning bolt to the car. Wow. Like it's not like it's anything like, it's not like they're mimicking like anything real life or anything like that. And it looks like a Rocket League car too. Like it's not like it's a car that's based off of a real life model. Like it looks like a shitty Dodge Charger. The screenshot that I'm looking at. But no, it's just normal. Like it's stuff that you would expect to be like unlocked from the start in like a regular racing game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
Like in a regular livery editor. And that's the other thing too. Like if not that people that are gonna be playing Rocket Racing are like car aficionados, but like holding this up and being like, hey, pay $40 for this, and then comparing that to like the livery editor inside of like Forza is like it's laughable how how night and day they are. Like Forza, you can basically create your own livery from the ground up with a pretty decent suite of tools, and then share it with the community. Like when I go into Forza, like and Gran Turismo does this too. Like I can download liveries for like cars and helmets and race suits and stuff like that that mimic like real life liveries from regular race teams. Like that's awesome. That the community created, and I don't have to pay a cent for it.
This thing is $40.
Yeah.
And wait till it gets branded, right? Wait till
Right.
it gets branded. Then it'll be $50 or $55.
And it's funny because this news is juxtaposed with the other Epic news that's out there this week. So they sued Google, Epic did, for antitrust violations, much as they did Apple. We didn't cover it because the case, like the trial itself, wasn't nearly as bombastic as the trial against Apple was. This was kind of on the QT. There wasn't as many documents leaking out or trial testimony or stuff like that, but The Verge has been covering it pretty well. The jury announced their verdict in the case today, and Epic has indeed proven that the Google Play Store is an illegal antitrust entity, which is a very interesting decision. Now, we don't know what the we have not gotten to the penalty phase of the trial yet. We just got the verdict, and now it'll be decided like what actually will happen. But potentially, you could see where Google will have to allow app developers to be able to essentially have their own store within their game, which they have not been able to do, and it's why Fortnite is not on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store currently. So the ramifications of this could be felt down the line. We will keep you abreast as far as like what happens with that as we learn more. But again, it's funny to me that in the same week that this happens, like they're out, like Epic's out here being like we're David slaying the Goliath. Please buy our $40 car skin inside of our new racing game within our game.
Like, come on, man! Like you made deals with literally every video game, every not literally but figuratively every pop culture brand, including actual human beings. Yeah, man. Like I think you're doing all right.
Yeah.
We're the little guy, and we want to be the big guy.
I watched the video, kind of detailing the new games that are within Fortnite, and just like one of the B-roll pieces of footage they had. And again, I'm not an anime guy, but like watching fucking Goku like run around the Fortnite map with like a fucking like an AK-47
Yeah, man, like it's the definition of selling out, It's quite literally
it's very funny. It's very funny. So we're going to take one more ad break, and then we'll be back with the rest of the news. All right, so another thing that we have not been following very much is the development of The Day Before, which has been sort of infamous in the game industry as a game that's been promising like really high-end gameplay, graphics. Like it was one of the first games to announce that they were using Unreal Engine 5, and they were making a post-apocalyptic open-world MMO survival game that became Steam's most wish-listed title based on a reveal trailer that they had put out. But people were very concerned about this game because they haven't, like, there's been very minimal updates that have been shown. There hasn't been any public testing of the game, like no beta or alpha testing, no, network strain tests or anything like that. And then last week, on I think Thursday, the game just released in, onto Steam, like with no fanfare, no no hype, no lead up. It just kind of came out, and so people bought, people downloaded the game, and found out that the open world MMO zombie game was actually more of a extraction shooter game, and not a good one. Like the game just wasn't fun. It was super buggy. The AI was shit. There were aspects of it that looked pretty, but also aspects very much not. And so people, looked at this and said, "Wow, like it's exactly what we thought it would be. It's in bad shape. Don't play this right now, because it's not good." And 4 days after that happened, the studio that launched the game, which is called Fntastic, ironically, has announced that they are shutting down and that no more updates are going to be released for the day before, according from a statement that they put out on Twitter to announce this, because, of course, the day before has failed financially and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. So basically, they got money from wherever they could in the industry, and promised the moon. And I don't think they knew what they were doing, honestly. Like quite frankly, it's amazing that a game even came out. I think they sold something around like 200,000 copies when the game launched, and I think that like 40% of those were refunded on Steam.
Jesus.
Like I think Steam was even issuing refunds and will continue to issue refunds for the game, even if you exceed the 2 hour time limit that they usually enforce for not being able to refund a game after you played it for more than 2 hours, essentially.
Yeah, this is the fire festival of gaming.
It really kind of is. It really kind of is. And like in a year where, we've had like layoffs across the industry and it's been a bad, shortage, you don't have to feel bad about this one. Like this was a group of people who I don't like. I'm sorry. I feel like that they were trying to sell people a bill of goods, essentially.
Yeah, man. It just didn't feel like you said. I'm surprised something came out. Like
Right.
it didn't feel like it was a game that looked like this, that required a bunch of maintenance essentially, because it's an actual ongoing game. It just
Yeah.
didn't. The reason we weren't covering this game is because it seemed very hinky,
Yeah.
and
And Steam took it down also. Like after the developer announced like, "Hey, we're not updating the game and we're closing." Like Steam pulled it from the store because they're just like, "We're not letting anyone else buy this
yeah,
piece of shit."
man.
And
Jesus.
and again, like if you're like, "Oh, like we still can feel bad about this." This was a developer who used to have on their website that they had a quote workplace culture that relied on the philosophy of volunteering. So like they were probably not paying a lot of people that were doing work for them, which is
Yeah.
crazy. So again, I mean, this will be a footnote in gaming history, but I guess a good cautionary tale to any developers out there not to promise more than you can deliver. So yeah, and I guess the only good thing you can say is, and to their point, the studio's point, we didn't take any public money, like we didn't do any crowdfunding. To which I say, good, because that would make the story literally 10 times worse. If you had
Yeah,
public
man.
funds, it's bad enough that people bought this travesty. And again, if you did buy the day before, get a refund on Steam. Like you don't need to keep this game and let that developer keep your money. Like just let Valve worry about it. They're fine.
I don't really pay attention too much to review scores,
Mm-hmm.
but IGN gave it a 1,
Yeah,
which is
which they
which is
never do. They
right.
never
Like
do.
I don't think I can't remember the last time I've seen a numbered score for a game that low. Which, uh, you know, God damn.
I was hoping I keep hoping in vain that we will get to the end of the year unscathed, but I'm not, because the Embracer Group exists. Free Radical Design, which was a studio that was set up in 2021 by Deep Silver specifically to make a new Timesplitters game, has now closed as of today, or as of yesterday. PlayOn announced that, which is what Deep Silver used to be, said that they've confirmed the official closure of Free Radical Design and say goodbye to many remarkable and hardworking, talented people. Over 50 people worked at the studio that are now out of work again, because the Embracer Group, again, borrowed money when borrowing money was cheap and was very irresponsible and bought a shitload of studios, and now they're reaping the rewards of not getting an immediate return on their investment. So that's who to blame.
Yeah, man. I don't. We say this every week, man. Like, I don't know what else to say.
I mean, there's nothing else to say. It's just we're going to report this because it's important to note it, but I don't know what else we could say that's new about any
Yeah.
of these at this point.
I hope these people land on their feet.
Some good labor news. Microsoft's QA workers have now become full-time unionized employees, and they are now all part of the ZeniMax Quality Assurance Union. So this is 77 workers formerly contracted that are now full-time employees with Microsoft, and they are unionized. So that's great. That's a good. That's a good. So they're gonna get full-time jobs, 22% pay increase. That's awesome. Benefits, full time, sick days, holidays, health insurance, all that jazz. So very cool. I think that's a cool step forward, and nice to see that Microsoft is rolling with the organized labor front in the wake of acquiring some of these studios. So that's a positive sign to see.
That is a positive sign. It just, I'm curious. I'm just curious where the bottom's going to fall out of this good news. I hope it doesn't.
Yeah,
But also, I
Michael,
hope
let's take a bit of optimism here. The last news story, and I put this on here very specifically so that one of us, and I'm not going to mention who, knows that he's not alone. As I put in the docket that's shared between us, we got a lot of fucking Micahs out here playing Baldur's Gate 3. I got to tell you. Larian released some play statistics to celebrate the game in its first couple months of release. And we found out that 15% of the game, 15% of all playtime in all of Baldur's Gate 3, again, 15% has been spent in the character creator. Literally the real life equivalent of 8,196 years have been spent creating characters in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I admit, I spent a little more time in the character creator in Baldur's Gate than I do in your average RPG, just because there's a lot of options, and I wanted to make sure it looked good. And then you got bamboozled by the fact that there was another character creator after the first character creator that was unexpected. I did not spend nearly as much time in that one as I did in the initial. But Micah, first of all, are you excited that there are more of your people apparently out there in the world than we ever could have imagined, number one? And number two, what the fuck is wrong with you people? 15% of your fucking game spent making your dude?
I am, quite frankly, I am not surprised, because what is creating a character other than playing God? And who doesn't want to play God, right? Like, you plus, there's also a lot of vain people out there, right? Like, how many of these people are making this character to be like, look exactly like them, except with, like, the racial features of the character they chose, right? Like, it's basically it's the poster child for making it all about yourself, which it should be, right? It's your game. You bought it. You know, if you want to be the one going out there and you know, killing people and having sex with bears and stuff like that, then yes, you should do it. And yeah, I'm glad I'm not the psychopath.
And again, like keep in mind that like 16% is an average amongst all of the like 3 million players who have played Baldur's Gate 3. So that means that there are some people,
average.
yeah,
There
some people are out
like,
there spending like literally a quarter of their game. Like I got to get this character exactly fucking correct. Exactly correct.
I love it.
And by the way, like we don't know how much it sold. All that Larian has said so far is that they sold 2.5 million copies during Steam's early access period, which is before the game officially even released, technically, and that's not counting what they sold on PlayStation, and now Xbox because it's now available on Xbox consoles as well. Which Larian meant to mention when they accepted their Game of the Year award, and then forgot, so they had to like hurriedly announce it on Twitter after the Game Awards was over, which was very funny.
Didn't forget. They didn't forget. They had their fucking. They were talking about the loss of their colleague, and like, all right, go fuck yourselves. We're leaving.
Apparently, Shadowheart has been romanced by over 50% of the players in the game.
I'm not surprised. She's
Yeah.
the closest to you know, an actual like person. And she's an interesting character.
Yeah. And Micah,
I need to get back into that game.
Yeah, so do I, because like I said, I fell off in the middle of Act 2. I need to, and just because other games came out that I wanted to play. Micah, the dog's been pet 48.5 million times, just so you know as well. So
The goddamn dogs. Dogs. Get out of here.
the dog gets you items though.
It's a fantasy world. It's a fantasy world.
Dogs
why
exist
are
in
there
fantasy?
Dogs. Why are there dogs? Give me a pet like
They're man's best friend.
Nah, man. Look, if you're playing as a human, you're doing it wrong. Like, use your imagination and get something other than a fucking dog. Stupid dog.
Because we had so much news, we did not put out a clarion call for the post office, so we will hold fire on those questions until next week. But don't forget, if you want to ask us questions that we answer on the show, you can do it in our Discord group by going to densepixels.com/fans. You know, while you're out there on the internet, on the World Wide Web, check out all the other TNP Studio shows, which you can find on any podcatcher of your choice. If you don't watch us on YouTube, you can. We put out this show in video format every week at youtube.com/densepixels. You can subscribe to get premium TNP Studios content by going to densepixels.com/premium and signing up for just $5 a month or $50 for an entire year to get access to our premium catalog. And of course, you can help support us financially by also using our Amazon link, which is at densepixels.com/Amazon. Get ready, folks, because I feel like next week it's the last episode of the year, because Christmas is the following week, so obviously we're not going to record that week. So it's time to talk about Game of the Year, the worst Game of the Year awards that you will ever find, because our scope is so much more limited compared to other podcasts you listen to. So you get the worst Game of the Year awards, the Dense Pixel podcast Game of the Year, as we will give you our top picks from the year, where there's not going to be a fucking Zelda to be found, I don't think. Maybe Carrie. Maybe Carrie might.
Yeah, Carrie will be here next week. So So Brad and I generally, like, we don't have the exact taste in gaming, but like, we can generally come to a consensus of what like our game of the year would be, and neither of us would be like displeased, right? Like,
I am off the beaten path this year, because literally the only game of the games that were nominated for Game of the Year this year at the Game Awards, I've played literally Baldur's Gate and Mario Wonder, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't played enough Mario Wonder to validate putting into my top 5 this year. So
And I was about to say, and then here comes Carrie throwing a monkey wrench into the entire thing. So who knows what you're gonna get? If we do what we normally do, which is like a consensus, like, well, what's the common denominator between our top 5? It's gonna be something wild. It's gonna be something that you've never like would consider. if we have a common denominator this year.
I don't know that we
I don't even
will.
know if we're going to.
I don't know that we will.
Yeah. I don't know that we're gonna have a common
Yeah,
denominator.
because like I said, you know, I'm gonna come like half my top 5 is gonna be some indie bullshit that you never fucking heard of in your entire life. Carrie's almost gonna exclusively be Nintendo stuff that you know.
Right. And you know me, I'm a dummy. I'm everything that's big, booming, bombastic, and like summer movie, right? So it's gonna be wild, man. It's gonna be wild. Watch it be Diablo. Watch it end up being Diablo.
As a consensus pick, that Carrie hasn't even played it, so like I can't imagine that.
Well,
no,
then it can't be that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what the consensus choice has to be because I feel like it's the only game that all 3 of us have played this year. But we'll see where everything else lines up in our personal rankings. So again, stay tuned for that next week. Again, the worst game of the year awards, 2023. But until then, thank you guys for watching and listening, and we'll see you all the next time.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.